Letter 32. Patience with the faults of others. To Sister Marie-Thérèse de Vieux-Ménil, on bearing with your neighbor and yourself. My dear sister, it is a great grace to see others behaving badly without feeling bitterness, indignation, impatience, or even disturbance. If for good reasons you speak about it, watch over your heart and your tongue, so that nothing may escape you that would not be approved by God, and have good motives for whatever you say. Humble yourself quietly, and lament in peace those faults that may have crept in during such talks. Often ask God to give you great charity and circumspection, and then remain tranquil. Keep yourself in the holy desire to belong entirely to God. Pray with faith, confidence, and resignation, and above all, humble yourself profoundly before His Divine Majesty. It is for Him to finish the work He has begun in you. No one else would be able to succeed in it. But know that there are many sacrifices to be made before God can take possession of our hearts by the ineffable delights of His pure love. Let us sigh for this happiness, and let us never weary of begging for it. Let us purchase it by generous sacrifices. We shall never be able to pay too much for it. As our hearts cannot exist without love, shall we not go to the heart of our God to derive from it the sustenance that alone can appease our hunger? May this divine love come, then, and take possession of our hearts. May it sustain them, set them on fire, and transform them into itself. Let us abandon ourselves without reserve to God, and not interfere with His loving providence, but think only of keeping straight in the road that God has marked out for us from all eternity, and in which we find ourselves at the present moment. One can dispute unendingly about predestination, and such arguments can only serve to make salvation seem more difficult. What is, however, undeniable, is that there is no better expedient to ensure predestination than the actual and continual accomplishment of the will of God. Letter 33. Patience with oneself. To the same person, on bearing with herself. My dear sister, we must submit to God in all things and about all things, as to the state and condition in which He has placed us, the good or evil circumstances that He has allotted us, and even as to the character, mind, nature, temperament, and inclinations with which He has endowed us. When you have acquired this, practice yourself, therefore, in being patient with regard to yourself, and in this perfect submission to the divine will. When you have acquired this, you will enjoy great peace, and not distress yourself about anything, nor get out of humor with yourself, but put up with yourself with the same gentleness which you should use towards your neighbor. This is a more important matter than you would imagine, and just at present is most essential to your sanctification. Keep it, therefore, always before your eyes, and make frequent acts of submission to the holy will of God, of charity, of endurance, and of gentleness towards yourself, even more than towards your neighbor. You will never attain to this without great efforts. A soul to whom God makes known its defects is much more burdensome to itself than its neighbor ever could be to it, because the latter, however near to us, is not always with us, at any rate, is not within us, whereas we carry ourselves about with us, and cannot leave ourselves for a single moment, nor completely cease to behold ourselves, to feel ourselves, and to carry about with us everywhere our imperfections and our faults. But see wherein the infinite goodness of our God shines forth. For the sorrow and the shame that our faults cause us are their own remedy, provided that this shame never turns into defiance, and that the sorrow is inspired by the love of God, and not by self-love. Sorrow born of self-love is full of vexation and bitterness. Far from healing the wounds of our soul, it only serves to poison them. On the other hand, sorrow produced by the love of God is calm and full of resignation. While detecting the fault, it delights in the humiliation which follows, and from this it results that much merit is gained, and thus, even from losses, we make profit. Cease then from tormenting yourself on account of your defects and of the imperfection of your works. Offer to God the sorrow they occasion you, and allow His divine providence to make good these slight infidelities by many little crosses and sufferings of all kinds. Arm yourself only with patience, raise yourself again as soon as possible, and deplore your falls with a sweet, tranquil humility. God wishes you to act thus, and by this indefatigable patience you will render Him more glory, and will make more progress than the most violent efforts would have enabled you to do.